Hello everyone and welcome back to Tree of Life Tarot. This is going to be a daily reading slash midweek check-in for April 15th. So halfway through the month now. I apologize, I did not get the dailies done for Monday or Tuesday this week. Just other life priorities took precedence, but I am back. I am very interested to see what the energy is at this point. I don't know if you all are feeling it, but I am feeling a just massive and profound energy shift this week. It really feels like something is clearing away and something new is emerging. There's a sense of calmness, but a strong sense of change. I don't even quite know how to name it yet. Well, here's our cards. These came right out quite deliberately. Oof. Bottom of the deck is the Emperor. So there's that divine masculine energy. Something that you've been, waiting for and working hard for is on its way in, but slowly. And painfully slowly is what I'm getting with this. These are they're both beautiful cards. They're positive cards, but goodness are they slow moving cards. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the deck. Seven of Pentacles, of course, speaks to harvesting, but it's definitely about divine timing, and it's, there is promise of a harvest, absolutely, with this card. But there's also a reminder of the process and of not being able to rush the process. And seeds are planting, the roots are watered, whatever needs to be pruned is pruned. It takes time for this to grow, for that harvest to happen. Now, the fact that we do have the Knight with the Seven of Pentacles tells me this is not a complete standstill. The Knight is movement. It's just very slow movement. So whatever this is, and we'll see what comes out with the rest of the cards, it is beginning its march forward towards harvest, towards fruition, towards culmination. But it is doing it in its own sweet time. Now the Emperor down here, I just want to mention, well, I want to mention two things. This is a card of Aries, and we have a very powerful Aries new moon on Friday the 17th, which is a very, very activating kind of moon. And this Emperor, and we'll see what else comes out, there is something about a big shift within this sort of, bear with me on this, divine masculine collectively. Whether that's a divine masculine connective, if you resonate or are dealing with someone who you would identify as a divine masculine, quote unquote, and I'm not talking about gender, of course. We all have masculine and feminine within us, but some people do kind of resonate as sort of strong expressions of those polarities. Either divine feminine, divine masculine, but of course there's a whole spectrum in between. But that's a conversation for another day. The point is, this is a very strong divine masculine card coming out. There feels like a major shift in the divine masculine collective, integration, a shifting of our priorities, a changing of direction, which could be what that is. And I don't want to harp on it too much. I'm just going to put that out there in case anyone needs it. Or, oh, that is way too many cards. Not taking that. Okay. So Five of Wands, a lot of, that can be a card of like competition and competing priorities. I'm reading it more as changing energies right now. Fives are all about change. This, I even said in the weekly reading, just feels like such a week of major, major change. All right, one more before I start looking at, that's too many. Yes, I'm being told to put them back. Okay, I was trying to put them back and this one said it wanted to stay. So that's our 5th card. All right, bottom of the deck is Temperance. I'm happy to see that. That's the great balancer. So bringing things back into balance, establishing some more equilibrium. So as I was saying, this 5 of Wands here, I'm reading as just a change in the energies. This shift this week, we'll see as we go throughout the week what else comes through. I'm not feeling super clear at the moment, but we're definitely in the midst of it. I can feel it moving all around us. So this is good news. Ace of Cups, emotional fulfillment, new beginnings emotionally. The cup being full. And, you know, I've mentioned this here in previous weeks, and this has been sort of a collective thing of so much has happened in this short, only 3.5 months of the year so far. Collectively, individually, there's been a lot of changes. There's been a lot of inner upheaval. And a lot of people have been feeling stressed and stretched and, you know, things just either falling apart, going wrong, not making sense. And so this Ace of Cups is a really nice card to see here because it does sort of speak to this shift of a rebalancing that seems to be happening now and people finding their center again, finding the center of themselves, and kind of having gone through a season of stretching and changing, kind of coming back into Temperance, new equilibrium. So that's really positive. Page of Wands. Now let me just look ahead here real quick. Page of Wands is small inspired action. But the Eight of Swords is overthinking and kind of being stuck. There is something here about having boundaries up. There is something here about having boundaries up. Our King of Swords is clear, but he's also, you know, he's not messing around. If there were to be a return of a situation that caused some conflict in the past, you would have your boundaries up and be a little bit wary of it. You are now sitting in King of Swords energy, which is clarity, focus, and also not taking any BS. If there is a 5 of Wands situation, again, either previously caused chaos and conflict, is stirring up chaos and conflict because it's something that's, you know, this is to me like an incoming message, incoming movement, incoming message. If you feel like the Page of Wands, take it as it resonates, but I'm kind of reading the viewer more in the King of Swords energy here. There is a sense of, I don't know about this. I'm not sure I want to re-engage this. I'm weary of whatever this message is. So we'll see what the clarifiers say, but I will say there is some possibly caution around not self-sabotaging. You know, get the facts, remain the King of Swords, because he's not necessarily, the Eight of Swords is present, but our King of Swords isn't necessarily going to jump in to that energy. You know, he can keep his head about him and needs more information. There's something that kind of looks nice and shiny coming in. But we've got some energies that our King of Swords would be cautious of. And perhaps does not have all the information because we have the Seven of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. Things are still in process. So more information will be needed. More time will likely be needed before the situation fully reveals itself. Well, that's kind of interesting. I'll say why in a moment. Here we go. I'm being told to put those back. Okay. Knight of Wands coming out of the Five of Wands sort of confirms what I might have just been saying, which is, here comes this person and we're not really sure what we want to do with them exactly. It's looking mighty confident over there, but, you know, could also be overconfident and is coming out of a Five of Swords energy. Okay. Excuse me, Five of Wands energy. Page of Cups. So gosh, I sort of got this sense of our pages almost talking to each other. Like this Page of Wands is calling to her. This is actually kind of beautiful. It gives me a little bit of like baby Empress and Emperor energy because, you know, our Page of Wands here is a little more active. He's calling out and moving, whereas she is sitting centered in her emotions with her cup. You know, he's got to go to her. So that, and look, there's another page right underneath there, Page of Pentacles. So this is young energy. This is young, fresh energy. I do love the Page of Cups. There's a sense of, I mean, all the pages have possibility, but this Page of Cups is an openness of heart. Okay, let's come over here. As I said, our Knight of Wands, I am immediately a little bit skeptical of our Knight of Wands. And I don't mean that in so much of a negative way. It's just, this guy's like, he's very attached to the Five of Wands. There's a lot of chaos surrounding him. Again, him or her, gender, doesn't matter, however that resonates for you. I'm just reading the depiction on the card. But, you know, he's still surrounded by this Five of Wands energy. He's still a little smug, thinking he's won that battle or is enjoying the battle, or... So then we have the Seven of Cups under the Ace of Cups, and this is sort of the cups of confusion. This is still some chaotic energy here. So a Knight of Wands kind of riding in with an Ace of Cups is still a chaotic cup, is still a slightly confused cup. Now, it does get better from here. Under the Page of Wands, we have the Six of Wands. This is a positive message. So, you know, I'm not going to walk back what I said about the Knight of Wands. It's just like, be a little bit cautious. Not because there's bad intent here, just because there's chaos attached to the situation. It really is what I was saying with this top row. There's just some chaos here. It's coming in. It can be positive. It has been victorious. This message, actually, what I'm getting with our Six of Wands here, the reason you can, I want to say, trust the integrity of the message is because it's built on experience. It's built on the Six of Wands experience. Someone has sort of, this is a person or a situation, it's kind of been tried and tested. It's been through this Five of Wands. So it does have some experience behind it. Although the incoming of the message could be a little bit impulsive. It is true. It's coming from a good place, despite the fact that it's still figuring out kind of, I'm getting, it's like this Knight of Wands figure is figuring out exactly what the Ace of Cups actually is. They may or may not actually be clear yet among the 7 cups of possibilities what is the actual Ace of Cups, which is the true fulfillment and sort of the true choice. But So there's very well-meaning energy here. It's very well-meaning. But you're sitting over here, King of Swords, saying, I see all your good intentions. I see all your, what you're trying to do here. But have you figured out what your Ace of Cups is yet? Are you actually clear? Is this situation clear that our king would want to invest in? So whatever this is incoming, whether it's a message or an offer, it's got some experience behind it. It can be explored. The world beneath the Eight of Swords tells me that it's not going to be a repeat of a past cycle. That does not mean be reckless here. It just means it's okay to engage. It's not gonna be, the negative outcome that you might be afraid it's going to be. It might not be, I know what negative outcome isn't the right way of saying that, but it's not something you necessarily have to be so safeguarded against. There's an interest in engaging with it because the world is a completion of a cycle, which says whatever this worry is not necessarily going to repeat. It is not an inherent part of what this is anymore. And then King of Swords, we have the Sun clarifying. Now the Sun underneath the King of Swords tells me, number one, you're in a good place no matter what. You've got the Sun. The Sun's already here. So whatever this is, it can only build and add. It can bring a positive outcome. And so coming back to our Knight of Wands here, who just, this is like the lovable rogue. Everybody loves a lovable rogue. But if you're trying to date one, or if it's like your family member, or, someone you're working with or collaborating with, you love them until you need to get things done. And then it's a little bit dicey. So, I think I lost the thread with that, but back to our King of Swords. That's just kind of how this Knight of Wands is looking. They're not dangerous. They just kind of are still figuring things out. Meanwhile, they can contribute. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. That was the point. They can contribute some fun. And maybe the King of Swords needs a little bit of fun because we're stuck in a lot of serious energy here. So it's kind of a double message. Like, it's okay to engage. Whatever this is coming in. There's no malice in it. There's no malice on the table here at all. You might just be a little wary because there might still be some chaos, and you are probably right. So stay in your King of Swords energy. Stay smart. Let things unfold because more will unfold with time. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. This is really interesting, and I'll be very interested to see how this plays out as we go. So that's your message for midweek, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.